Hello and welcome. My name is Tom. This is the Enthusiasm Project, Season 2, Episode 20. Crazy. And today I've got a guest in the studio, which actually we've been having like guest episodes for the somewhat recently, like kind of regularly. But I've got my lovely wife, Heather, here. Say hi, Heather.
Hello.
And we today was the first day that we went out to eat at a restaurant.
Yeah,
in
since
many months.
quarantine.
Yes, and we did so safely, and the restaurant had everything socially distanced and all that. But it was very nice to be out in the world for 45 minutes.
They surprisingly went to great lengths.
They went to really great lengths.
Yeah.
All disposable menus, disposable like condiments and stuff. It was
single serve everything.
Food was way to go, IHOP. But while we were eating that breakfast, we were also I was talking about, okay, what do I want to do for a podcast today? And Heather had a great idea for a future episode, which I want to do, which is, she was like, you should share stories from your life, like stories that have a lesson. I was like, oh, I've got tons of stories, and I think some of them have lessons to them, so that would be super fun. And then we found one story that would deserve its whole episode. It was great, and so that's what we were going to do. But then we were looking at a couple of things that happened on my channel recently, right?
Yes. Yeah, so, I forgot how we got here, but I remember now.
I'm paving the road, and then I'll let you kind of take over, because it's vital that Heather is here for this conversation. So what it really was my channel hit 20,000 subscribers last week, which is super exciting.
Yes.
And you and I did a live stream on, I think it was Friday night.
Yes.
That was really fun. We haven't gone live on my channel in forever. Tons of people were there, like lots of feedback. It wasn't until afterwards that I realized.
So you actually came to this realization at some point after.
I kind of came to the realization during, because I've been conscious of it, but I didn't bring it up because it's nothing bad. It's nobody's
right.
fault.
I didn't want to call it out because I was like, this is not my channel, and it's not a bad thing.
Well, nobody's doing anything wrong, but there were. I mean, I don't remember over the course of the hour and a half how many, but probably the standard ratio on my channel, which is 91% of my audience is male, 9% is female. And probably even more than 91% of the live chat audience was male. Looking through, I put out a video today that has a decent amount of comments on it, and there are, aside from you, there are 2 girls, I think, who commented, maybe 2. And then that just got us kind of talking this afternoon about this thing we've talked about before, which is like, why aren't there more female creators, especially in this space, I guess?
I don't even know if that's the right question to ask, though.
What is the right question to ask?
I'm curious as to why your audience is a vast, far majority male. Like, that's more my question. Because I feel like, the lack of female creators is a whole separate conversation, because obviously if you dived into beauty,
right? That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah. So, and exactly.
There are niches and genres that have a lot of female
dominant.
Yeah.
Right. But I just found it, the reason why I find it interesting, and when we were on that live stream, I was going to say something like, there's literally no girl commenting. And it made me feel like I was in, this is why I almost said something, because it really did make me feel like I was in the guy's basement.
Right.
This is the man cave or whatever. And it almost made me feel out of place. And then, of course, I had to remind myself, we were having so much fun being husband and wife on this freaking live stream, and
well, everyone who's there is super cool and nice and friendly and supportive
and all that. Right. Of course. So it flashed in my mind for a second. And then, I don't know, maybe it was someone's comment that just, and I can't remember, but I felt it for a second, and then I was like, okay, it's not worth bringing up or anything. But, I liked, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I like to leave comments on Tom's videos that have absolutely nothing to do with the content.
Love this.
Because, honestly, I'm not going to leave a comment about the actual content, because 1, I don't even know what's happening half the time because it's not my interest. I don't care about gear. 2, any comments that I actually do have to say, I've already told Tom
That's
when
true.
I've watched the video before he uploads it. So I'm not going to leave a comment. And usually when I'm watching the video, it's genuinely because like I vividly remember the days of watching your content when we were not a thing. And I like gush, I fan out, you know, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. So my comment on your last video was, with this ring, I thee wed.
Yes.
In a sea of, yeah, dude, like, check out this, like, you know, I'm going to start I don't even know what your thing was, but just a bunch of dudes talking gear and tech.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm just curious as to, like, why is it all dudes? Is it because of you? Is it because of the niche that you're in? Is it because there are a lack of female creators just in general? You know, like, those are...
I don't...
Like,
so,
I'm wondering, would I watched your channel because, you know...
You had different motives.
I know, but I'm trying to see, like, would I have watched your channel and, like, if I...
Now.
Yeah, if I wasn't, you know, if there wasn't an attraction and all that.
Probably not. Like, why would you? You don't watch any of the other people in that space.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So then it's the space. Is that what it is?
Which that's where I'm interested in, because like you said, if we went to have my like laptop open here just in case I want to do any searches, but if I, you know, there's certain things, obviously if I type in beauty or eyeliner or something that's really female, clearly female specific, there's going to be overflowing of female creators. But if I write like, I'm a teacher, right? So I'm going to type in teacher day in the life. And what you'll see here is what I noticed. All girls.
Female.
It's all the same kind of teacher. It's all like 25 to 30-year-old elementary school teachers
who are like all super cute.
Who are Pinteresting up their classrooms, and they have a bajillion views. I mean,
wow.
Look, like, I mean, it's a whole thing, but it's all like, I mean,
wow, you guys, this looks like a niche of Instagram.
Yes. It's
That's interesting.
Yeah, and there's no dudes.
Wait, I think I saw a dude there.
Oh, here we go. Day in the life high school teacher. He actually has
cool.
And he's a high school teacher. That's cool. But I mean, look at this. Day in the life of a third grade teacher, 818,000 views. Day in the life of a teacher, 1 million views. Day in the life of kindergarten teacher, 95,000. Second grade teacher, 1.4 thousand, 230. Like, and if you're looking at these thumbnails, they're all kind of similar. They're very bright. They're very white. They're very like feminine looking.
Okay.
But it's also like, as a teacher, I just recognize it as like elementary school looking too, because it's two different worlds. High school, elementary school, just two different worlds. But it's heavily female dominated, even though, I mean, I guess teaching kind of is a female dominated field, sort of. But I found this is interesting because it's something you would clearly think as being female dominated. And then you go to tech, because the thing that we did earlier that kind of led to our discussion was, I was like, okay, let's think about the space, because there are female creators who need cameras and microphones and like want to start podcasts and stuff like that. Even today, Justine, who's one of like the few tech female creators I can think of off the top of my head, it has been around forever, released a video about starting a podcast. So gender doesn't mean that you don't have these needs.
Of course, yeah.
But we typed in how to shoot B-roll. I tried to think of like almost the most generic thing in the camera photo world.
Dude.
I mean, it's a lot of the same dudes, and it's a lot of dudes that I'm subscribed to. But yeah, everything. I'm even in these search results at some point.
All males.
It's all guys. I'm scrolling way down. Not one girl.
Wait, I see a girl.
Wait, where was the girl?
Oh, is that a guy?
It's a guy. Sometimes the guys will put their girlfriends in thumbnail to get the click, so it's not just another dude. But in terms of female run channel,
there you are.
Yeah, there I am. There's really nothing until you get what would be like page 2 of Google search results, and I don't know where it is because I might be skipping it over here. But we found
you typed in how to film B-roll.
Did I? Oh, well, we found 2 female creators in this, at least in the first.
When we did this before recording. Yeah,
we found 2 female creators, one of whom we'd heard before and one we hadn't, who had like kind of a smaller channel, Gabrielle something or other.
And now we can't find her.
Now we can't find
all
it.
The dudes.
It's just
taken over.
Sea of dudes. Here it is. Gabrielle Ruddick. And her channel is coming up on 1,000 subscribers. The video that pulled us in was how to film macro product B-roll. Because sometimes you're like, okay, is it almost everybody who does a YouTube channel, regardless of their niche, at some point will do a studio tour, how I make my video. So a beauty person will do it. Everybody will have a thing where they'll talk about their equipment at some point, probably. And so I was like, oh, is this that? I clicked on her thing. She goes really in depth, like cool stuff she's doing to do like a mock
advertising.
Yeah, commercial photo shoot. And then her other videos are like how to do lighting, so she has a legit, very similar style to what the guys are doing, but with a different, and it kind of has a different flair. Like it's very no BS. Like we're just jumping into the topic. And I really liked it. And she does a really good job at it. And it's strange that that's it though. There's nothing else in that niche. And I don't know why. I can think.
Oh, in terms of female creators?
I don't know. This was just what led us is like literally we did a search in what my channel would fall under. There's no female creators.
I think there's two questions because I wonder, like, you know, if it was a female doing your exact style and content, would that change things, or is it the industry, like you said? Is it the fact that tech and gear is a male heavy thing?
I mean, I
don't know the answer. We don't know the
here's
answer.
where it gets. Here's kind of why I really want to have this discussion. Going into my 9th year as a digital media teacher.
Yes.
Over those 9 years, with I guess it's been about 2,000 students in that time. 9 years, 2,000 students, 2 different districts, 2 different schools.
Okay.
My female students have been the majority of the ones who are more active in digital media. Like the male students, like everybody is active in their own way, but in general, it's mostly been female students who really take the leadership role. Like we want to start a thing, we want to make a thing. It's mostly the female students who are the first ones in like 9th or 10th grade to go like, Mr. Buck, I want to get a camera. I don't know what to get. What do I get? Like they have the gear questions. They want to learn about lenses. They want to learn about lighting. They start doing special projects. They want to submit stuff to festivals. They volunteer for the after school stuff. Anytime I do like, hey, we have a event coming up this weekend and we need people to help, it's mostly girls that sign up for it. Then after high school, it completely flips and they all disappear.
Well, see, but then that's another question of like, don't female students like tend to excel in high school above average on top, more than the guys in high school at that age?
I mean, there's kind of the myth of like girls are more mature at that age and stuff, but I think later high school years, it really evens out. Like, I don't think so. And I only have experience in my area. Right. So I don't know, like if I know like our engineering department at school, like they have a problem because they will have a class with one girl in it, and they're like actively trying to go like, we need female students.
So here's my perspective as a female creator.
Yes.
And also as a YouTube coach, and I think we talked about this on your podcast before, but when people come up to me wanting to start a channel, the doubts, obstacles, things holding them back are totally different. And usually the first question out of a dude's mouth would be, what kind of camera do I need?
Right.
And out of a girl's, it'll be, I can't stand my voice. I don't want to watch my face. I look terrible. Like, how can I make this look better? But not, I don't think it's a look better in terms of video production. I think it's an insecurity of how they look. So, yeah. And I don't know, I think that has, because I've talked to other female creators and, they're super sure that that's what it is. It's a, I don't know, this fear. I don't know if it's a fear that females have of like, this is, how you have to look or whatever, or you're going to have to deal with a different side of criticism.
If you look at
online,
male creators on YouTube, it's very clear there's not as much judgment in terms of physical appearance. It's a wide spectrum of people who all have very successful channels of all kinds of appearances.
Which is crazy because I don't think that holds anyone back from starting YouTube. Like I feel like you wouldn't even know. You wouldn't know what criticism. You don't know the harsh reality, and also the beauty of the YouTube comment section until you're actually in it. Right. So I don't think that would be a reason why you wouldn't create, regardless if you're male or female.
I would hope not.
I'm just curious as to like, for what you do. I think there's the bigger question, but for you, I don't know. Like I feel like I would watch you regardless if male or female. Like,
part of me, I mean, I don't.
do you know what I mean?
This might just sound bad, but part of me feels like if I were doing the exact same videos, exact same thing, but I was like Tanya instead of Tom or whatever, that my channel would grow faster.
You feel like you would grow faster?
I don't know. I just kind of
Do
feel.
you really feel like you'd grow faster?
I feel like it. Like Gabrielle, who we found,
Yeah.
who's just kind of like jumping in and owning it. Her channel's relatively new. She's doing. I think like if she were to keep doing it, it would just go. I feel like. I mean, okay. Let's put it this way: as a female creator, if you were like, okay, I need to learn about lighting. Like I need to do light. How to get better lighting for YouTube. My video pops up. Her video pops up. Which would you click on? All things being equal, like basically the same title, equally good thumbnails. Would you click on the girl? Would you click on the guy?
I honestly,
yeah.
I don't know because I think I'm weird. I think I'm an exception or anomaly or whatever because like my heroes, my inspirations, the people that I look up to tend to be male.
I think you have. I feel like you're a very equal opportunity. Like you just want the best info. Like you don't really care where it comes from. You just want the best. You do have, but you also have a ton of female, like I don't know, we call them role models or whatever too, that you're showing me all the time. So I really feel like if you literally like listed out your people that you follow, it's like almost 50-50.
I wouldn't say that.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
I mean,
yeah,
you know who I only know what you
think,
show me, so maybe it's like skewed.
I think maybe I talk about what they, what I think I talk about their content more than, I'm not going to talk to you about a Casey video, but Casey's like my hero. Gary's my hero. Like these are huge influences, and there have been. I don't know. Maybe it is even. So I think like honestly, it's hypothetical. I think I would click on both.
Right. I mean, of course. Do you know which one you click on first?
I don't know. It's so hard to say.
I should have done a test. I should have made like mock thumbnails and done the whole thing.
I just think like, okay, considering that a lot of what's being successful on your channel right now is about podcasts, which is not, I don't feel like anyone can claim that this is either male dominated or female.
I feel like podcasting is pretty even. Yeah.
YouTube, fine. Let's say that it's probably more
camera tech YouTube, more male dominated.
Way. Like,
yeah. I mean, it's not even
it's not even close. But since you're like mostly known right now for podcasting, I'm just, how the hell is it 91% male? And even out of the 91%, 9% on your 20,000 subscriber live stream, one chick.
Yeah, they're not mainly the ones leaving the comments.
Exactly. And I know you're watching.
Yeah. Every video has several like comments from like female subscribers or female viewers, but it's not even close to being equal at all. So
I mean, I'm not saying I don't have a problem with this.
No, it's not.
I'm not. I hope it's not a problem.
It's a thing to like
explore. Like, I just want to know why. Like, I want to know if it's because, is it because of a lack of inspiration, encouragement of female creators to create things? Is it because when there are female creators, they don't care about tech? I mean, that's a possibility because I don't. But
I know there's that, but that's why I brought up my students, because I'm like, in general, I mean, it's a fairly even split with girls leading the way and being more interested in it first. Like literally, like what kind of lens I want to do this, like, and it's always female students doing that. It's almost always also female students who will like save up money to buy their own thing first. The guys will start doing that in like junior, senior year.
And what are their channels, or what kind of content are they creating?
I mean, this is stuff
all over.
It's all over the place. I mean, obviously, like high school girls, it's TikTok. But I mean, they also jump on the opportunities through my program, where like we have to go film stuff and do stuff, and so that's for us. It's almost like client work, and they're the ones, and they love doing both. They love being in front of the camera as like a reporter. They love operating the stuff. They love editing the things.
Okay, so right now we are kind of in the midst of this revolution for Black Lives Matter. I'm wondering, do you think that representation, because we just did a YouTube search, we looked up like how to shoot B-roll. We didn't see one chick. We had to find.
Like, we saw one chick.
Yeah. Okay, we saw one chick. Is that perpetuating
Well, see,
Like,
this is my
I don't see myself.
this is my question. Because as a white dude in his 30s with like a 5 o'clock shadow beard, if I go on YouTube, there's no shortage of white guys in their 30s or even older with 5 o'clock shadow beards talking about tech and stuff, which makes it very, yeah, okay, cool. I should be able to do this. I look like that. Like, I should do this. Even in camera tech and stuff, black creators, there's a really decent like chunk of very prominent black creators who way more than female, like for sure. And I don't want to say I'm part of the problem, but like part of me, I do kind of feel this thing of like white dude talking about tech. I love it. So it's not like I'm trying to change because it's the thing that I love, but I also want to, I just want to understand it. And I have on the screen here. So from another white dude in his 30s who talks about tech and stuff. Last week, Cody Warner on Twitter posted a thing, which was a company had reached out asking him to do a collab in a project with like other creators and stuff. And he posted this thing on Twitter going like, hey, here's a suggestion. When someone reaches out to do this, ask them this. And his thing that he wrote back said, thank you so much for reaching out. What's the race gender split of others that will be appearing in the video? As a white male, I've been a part of far too many videos where we were all white men. Looking at the date and time. Oh, then he's like, I can't do it anyway. But I like that question of, okay, before I say yes to doing this, like, what is the gender split? Because you don't even realize it. And I have found myself in that situation.
Saying yes to something and it's just all dudes.
Yeah, and not realizing it. Like, I'm just excited to do it. It's a cool opportunity. It's not like I'm doing it like, it's all dudes, right? Like, it's all white dudes, right? No,
you
it's
don't
just,
even know who else
I was like,
is
oh,
in
this
it.
sounds really cool. Or this is a thing I'm familiar with. This podcast sounds cool. This collab sounds cool. This conversation sounds cool. And then like in it, I'm like, oh, it's all white dudes.
Okay, so let me tell you a story. I don't know how it plays into it.
Okay.
But speaking of Cody, this is
Okay.
why I thought about it. When did you discover Cody?
It would have been summer of 2018.
Okay. So when Tom discovered Cody, it was like a new Casey. Like you subscribed, and every morning I would hear Cody's
Yeah, he was
voice
doing his
in
daily
our,
videos.
like, living room. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were super into it, and he's a very similar style. He even has a video where he tried to meet Casey and all of that, which is cool. I think I saw like one or two videos, and they were cool. They're very like positive and very motivational and stuff like that. For some reason, I just never. No offense, Cody, if you ever listen to this, but for some reason, I never like got into it the way that
Right.
I did with Casey. But it was cool to see another person finding success with that same format.
Right.
And then that same summer, Cody just like
That's when
skyrocketed.
right.
Yeah, like became creator on the rise, recognized by YouTube. His movement for no small creator was like the keynote for every single conference.
Which is a
that
fairly
year.
diverse group.
Yeah, and,
really.
okay, so explain the no small creator movement.
Yeah, so that was a thing Cody had started. I guess it started as like a Facebook group or whatever, but it was just the idea that a lot of people feel insecure about, well, I'm just a small
How
channel or
many
whatever. And it's
subscribers
like,
you
no,
have.
the fact that you're making something is enough. Like, here's a group of people who are making stuff. The numbers don't really matter, essentially. And
There's
so,
no small creator.
So we helped find a location for a LA meetup later
Of
that
those
summer.
No Small
Creator
Creators,
with
yeah.
Cody, which was really cool.
Yeah.
And that group was super diverse. Through the Facebook group, it's super diverse. Lots of females, lots of males, different ethnicities, orientations. Like, it's a pretty. I think now the Facebook group is 5,000 or 6,000 people strong, and it feels like, obviously there are a lot of white dudes in their 30s talking about tech, but there's also a lot of other people too. But I don't know why. Like, where does that go?
Well, so here's the story, right? So when we did that meetup, I don't know why this bothered me so much, and you know this, but for some reason when I came back from that meetup, I felt very discouraged about my channel.
Yes.
I felt like I am not doing B-roll with fancy cameras
Right.
and coffee and these. Because Peter McKinnon was huge then as
Right.
well, and they
Another
were
white guy in his
they
30s.
were all talking, and it was just like I felt like all of a sudden this thing I used to have so much pride in was now something I was embarrassed about. I didn't feel good enough. I felt like, oh my. I'm here at this meetup. Everyone has at least $800 in their hand, and I have $200. I just felt like my stuff is not going to look like theirs. Like, what is my vlog even when I don't have this cool B-roll? I don't have shots of the building. I don't have like the slow-mo of the car pulling in. And
Your channel was bigger too than most of the people
but
there.
for some reason, I was really, it really bothered me for weeks.
Yeah,
like
no, I know.
It made me not want to create because I just was like, my stuff doesn't look like that. And I'm wondering if that is kind of the same phenomenon that's happening here where, you know, if you think that a vlog or whatever it is that you want to create looks like the fancy coffee B-roll DSLR look, but you can't make that or you're not interested in it, then you're not even going to try.
Right.
You know, and I don't know if that's because it is a male dominated. For some reason, all you guys are, it's you guys that have that style. I don't know.
I mean, it's a lot of, some of it is monkey see, monkey do. It's, you know, you see something in a video and you're like, I'm going to try that in my video, which is why I have stopped. I don't stop watching. I watch a ton of YouTube, but I stopped kind of after that because I got real burnout on like the black bars and the slow-mo and the whatever.
Yeah, oh my God, you would straight up double tap straight through like, even Peter McKinnon.
Oh yeah.
Like, here's another B-roll scene.
Yeah, I don't need that anymore. But, and I made them. My channel has them on it. They're super fun to make. They're way more fun to make than they are to watch most of the time. And you learn a lot by making them. So it's like, it's nothing like you shouldn't make it. But it was just kind of this thing where I was like, okay, I want to watch YouTube to enjoy YouTube, but I don't want the idea of like how I do my stuff and where it comes from to come from that. I want it to, like when we got married, we got engaged, you kept saying, let's not think of like what a wedding should be. Let's imagine we were aliens and you're just told like a wedding is where two people come together and like commit themselves to each other.
Make it however you
for their
want.
lives. What would that look like to you? And I
for you, yeah.
I've been trying to remember that with YouTube where it's like, okay, I need to do this product review and my impulse is to go, okay, you know, here's the Rodecaster. How are people handling doing it? Are they doing top-down shots? Are they doing this? Are they what? How are they? And I stop myself and go, don't look that up. How am I going to do it? Like, what is my way of doing that thing? Same thing with like a room to film in. You know, like I just immediately was like, oh, I love like crap on the walls and bright colors. Cool. And then you go on YouTube and it's a lot of dark and like dramatic lighting.
Yeah, it's opposite
which
of
I'm
what you're doing.
Really happy that is one of those things that like kind of went differently just because that was the thing that I wanted to do, not the thing that other people wanted. So, and that's why I've been making all those videos. And I even talked last podcast about finding inspiration outside of YouTube, like, you know, anime and movies and TV shows and stuff where it's like it's just going to be different because you're filtering it differently. I don't remember what even led us down this road, but it was kind of the idea of like, why are we all doing the same stuff?
I do have to say that when I finally hit a stride on my channel, like say early on, hit my first stride, I didn't know any other creators. Right. And the people that I was watching, mainly Casey and Gary Vaynerchuk, I mean, I would never meet them. Right. So
their styles aren't super polished either.
Yeah. But, you know, I was more of like so excited to just make whatever that there was no comparison of like, I could even reach this person's level of doing it because I know I could never. So I didn't care. Like,
you also didn't want to. Like,
I didn't even bother with like, you know, you're talking about the sets in the background. Yo, I used my bed. Like, I just did. And
right.
I didn't even put an extra second thought of like, oh, what's in the back? I don't know what's in the back. I don't even care.
You had a sign.
But that was like a year and a half in. Like, right. You know, and then it was just funny when the whole like no small creator thing happened where all of a sudden I felt like I was formally introduced to the genre and realizing that no one is doing it the way that I was, and that made me feel insecure, not empowered. You know, it was like, oh, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it wrong. That's how I felt. I'm doing it wrong. And I'm wondering, is that a female thing? Like, you know, kind of like the same thing where more females tend to question, like, how do I look?
Yeah.
Is there a way I hate the sound of my voice. I'm insecure. And guys are just like, yo, you know, camera or lens or whatever. Like, I wonder if is that the female in me or is that, you know, my personal insecurity? I don't know.
Because at the time, I mean, I could, as a dude or just as me walking into that situation and realizing that the thing I'm doing is different from everyone else, I can genuinely say if I had a channel that had like 10 subscribers, I would go kind of like, oh, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I should be doing it this way. I think I wouldn't be able to avoid that. And I naturally just compare myself and all that stuff. But you literally had one of the biggest channels at that meetup.
Because like,
and I would have been empowered. I would have been like, oh my gosh, like I love that whatever anyone makes here, I'm going to make something different, which you did. The thing that you made where you like interviewed people and all stuff was super different than what everybody else turned out.
I know, but also
me.
Everyone was there with like, with their huge camera rig, getting these like setting up the cups and, you know, and like the food and like, it was so B-roll focused, and I think there was just between Cody and Peter and like everything else that you were watching.
It was the summer of B-roll.
It was like insane. Yeah. And I just was like, I don't even think to look that way because, the year before we even met, I was hanging out with like Jermaine, who's, we haven't talked in a while, but Jermaine Ellis is another vlogger who I think has been vlogging for like 4 years straight.
Just like every day, basically.
Yeah. We connected because we both used to do Postmates, and he's just an awesome guy. I really like him. But we went to VidCon together. Like, it was both of our first times. 2017.
That would have been 2017, right before we met, because you were on the VidCon high when we met.
Yes, 2017. And this is like, I had so much fun that VidCon year. It's totally changed ever since. I feel like it gets worse and worse from a creator standpoint. But when I went to VidCon, this is being surrounded, like this was just heaven for me. Even though it was a bunch of other creators, for some reason it was the total opposite of how I felt at the No Small Creator, which I feel bad because I feel like if Cody ever listened to this, he'd be like, I'm sorry that you felt that way. But
I think he's he's a dude who's very transparent about the ups and downs on his journey. So
at VidCon, it was just people from it wasn't just the B-roll niche.
I think
it was also like beauty, it was fashion, it was music, it was kids, it was food, it was everything, and everyone looked different. Everyone had a different rig. People were using their phones, people were using GoPros. Like I didn't once question anything. I was excited to be a part of that.
Yeah. I mean, well, that was also the summer before the summer of B-roll. Like that was it was more the summer of
because there are these trends. There's definitely trends.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. And now even in my niche, like the B-roll thing gets kind of like
poo-pooed almost,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, another B-roll.
Yeah. And I mean, I'd be more than happy to never see somebody make coffee in slow motion again in my life. But I can remember 2017, that same summer that you're talking about was when I started my channel. And I think I talked about this in some other podcast episode, but I had been bogged down with like, I need the good camera and the good lens and things have to look good. When I started the channel, I wanted to avoid that. So I got not a crappy camera, I got a very nice point and shoot camera, but that's it. Point and shoot, can't plug in a microphone.
Right.
And I was like, I'm not doing external audio recorders, I'm not doing lighting, I'm just essentially
making
like
it as easy as possible.
Essentially taking a page out of Casey's book and just doing it. It doesn't matter. The shot can be a little crooked, it can be tilted, it's fine. It's more about like, what am I doing? And I remember, especially because you pushed me to a 30-day upload thing, every of those days just going through the world and being like, what's this? And like thinking of shots, but not really thinking it like cinematic, thinking like interesting, like, oh, there's guitars, I should get a shot of the guitars. Here's the sunrise, let me do 2-minute thing of the clouds moving. Like,
God,
here's
that. Hearing you talk about that makes me like so miss the days where I used to be like just.
And you're filming, that is all B-roll, but you're not thinking of it as like B-roll.
Yeah, well, I'm not thinking. I can't think of B-roll because I've never shot that. I don't even know what that is. Like,
but I mean, you have, because that's what it is. But it's not with the stigma of like, or the baggage of like, this needs to be cinematic, color graded.
Because I feel like there's B-roll, and then there's like, the way that I feel like a video production, person would approach it. Because obviously, okay, A-roll and B-roll,
right. I know the technical part of what it is,
exactly.
Right?
But the way that someone who has,
you just want to show the thing versus like show the thing.
I don't know. Well, anyway, I didn't want this episode to be like Heather's Insecurities. I'm just wondering if these types of experiences hold females back from creating. And I don't, again, I do think that there's two questions, like female creators in general, and then for some reason your audience. I think it would be cooler if there was more of a female audience.
I would love to have a 50-50 split.
Yeah, I think
that'd be
cool.
great.
Me too, because I also had a male-dominated.
I think everybody's
audience.
demographics that I have ever seen at least skew male. I don't know anyone in like the stereotypically female things. But
can you say off the top of your head, what is there a difference in comments between females and males?
On my channel, no.
Yeah.
No, there's really not. It's all, they're pretty positive, and most of the people who leave comments are people who are working on their own thing, and so they actually either thank me for like, hey, here's info, or they have a question like, would this work for, or I'm trying to do, can you recommend? And it's the same between guys and girls, which is cool. But I don't know.
So why do you think you have a 91% male audience?
I think there's something.
And do you have a problem with it? I mean, if you don't have a problem with it.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it in that, like, you guys need to leave. Like, because none of those 91% males are doing anything wrong. Like,
Right.
They're doing the same thing I do, which is like, hey, I'm interested in this. I want to know more about this. I'm going to look it up. Here's the thing I enjoy. I do feel concerned.
Right.
Why is it 91%? Like, why aren't there more females in that space? I mean, literally off the top of my head, I couldn't think of any. The only female creators other than Gabrielle, who we found today, I could think of...
Two.
Yeah, I could think of Sarah Dici, Justine, and Becky from Becky and Chris, because she's really like she's the one that like does all the production on their channel. And those were like the three that I could think of that I'm subscribed to, watch regularly, pop up in my search results.
And maybe that's because of the tech industry, but I don't feel like you're in that, especially if you're encouraging people to create podcasts right now.
I don't know what it is.
I mean, you are a very gear focused channel,
yes, but can anyone be interested in? I mean, I have
that's what I'm saying.
And I have tons of, like, I have, in terms of those 91% dudes, they're from all over the planet. So it's all ethnicities. Okay. The age range is wild. Got 14 and 15-year-olds. I also have people in their 60s and 70s, like, starting their stuff. Like, a dude left me a comment today that was like, I've had this microphone you're using for 60 years and it still works. And I'm like, great. But I also have, a kid who turned 15 and had me on his channel. So and he's from Malaysia. So there's people, they're all over the world, like all different skin tones, all dudes.
So if you're listening to this and you are a female, you should do the call to action. Please go jump on the Anchor app and tell us why you listen to or subscribe to Tom.
Yes, I would like to know that.
And is there something like, do you have any? Well, okay, first of all, it doesn't have to be a girl. Anyone who's listening, any of you guys who are subscribers of Tom's channel, The Enthusiasm Project, why do you think there's such a difference? Or that's not the word.
Disparity.
Sure. A disparity in gender of subscribers.
And I like, so here's kind of my question is, what do I do about this? Like, do I
don't think it's in your, it's not your responsibility to like save the world.
Yeah, I know. I just feel like I'm part of the problem, but I'm just doing things I like.
I really appreciate that you're being conscientious of it.
But I also don't want to be the dudes, which is, I'm really glad that you're here to explain everything, because I don't want to be the dude who's here like, we need more women on like whatever. Because it's like, it's weird. But I mean, you've even talked to, just recently you talked to a female creator who was part of an event and was essentially the token female creator at the event, was given super terrible time slot, not really part of like the group of all the other dude creators, of whom I don't think were there to be like boys club. I think it just happened. Like,
well, the impression that I got from the person who told me the story was that the female creator was invited to be part of the event just to be able, like you said, be the
so they
token
can say
female.
it's male, female creators, whatever. And I mean, when we went to VidCon this past year, that was the only time I've gone. Every panel we saw was pretty evenly split.
Well, I want to say, a company like VidCon is going to really...
They're going to go...
Yeah, because the marketing person is going to know. I know, like, every company I've done marketing for, you got to have all
Right, of
shades
course.
of, whatever, and male, female, all of that.
But I don't know. I don't think like we're not going to solve the problem, but I think it's a discussion worth having. As somebody who's literally married to a female creator, it makes me sad when like I can go to an event and be super psyched about it, and then you leave feeling like.
But see, like, okay, I want to say, just disclaimer, I realize that could just be my own insecurity.
There were other female creators
regardless.
there doing like all kinds of different stuff, and still doing afterwards.
That many, but yeah.
I mean, there was more than just you.
Yes, and usually it is just me.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a handful.
That's good. Yeah.
It wasn't like the biggest meetup in the world. It was like 20 something people. There were probably 5 female creators ish, maybe.
4, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I think there were like 5.
Okay.
And there were people like kind of bounced in and out, but I mean, it's obviously mostly dudes. But as a high school teacher of digital media, where I do see, and it's not even that I would want all of my students to like, you need to pursue a career in digital media. Like that's not it. I love teaching it because it's such a valuable tool to have no matter what they go on to do. But I'm so curious as to literally why so many of my students, of my female students, my male students will graduate and they'll be the ones where it's almost like they're more likely to go, I'm not even going to go to college. I'm just going to like do my own thing. Or I'm going to put myself through college by doing photo, video, whatever. And they get clients and some of them make more money than I do by the time they're in their like early 20s. And it's the female students who are really talented, equally, if not more so than these dudes. And they graduate and then like, as far as I know, kind of like never pick up a camera again or edit again or share something online again. And I
feel like there's so much that happens there.
I don't know. And it's been a very consistent thing. Obviously, I've had female students who go on to be wildly successful in those areas, but it's so confusing. And it's been 9 years where I've seen this trend emerge.
So here's like the selfish desire, I guess, for me is I believe that the world would be a better place with more female telling their stories.
Okay, I agree.
And I wish, I get my wish would be that your channel could play a part in that.
I would love that.
It doesn't have, like I said, you don't have to carry this torch. But like, if I just want to know why isn't it more balanced?
Is there something?
Like, are you doing something that's like
is there
turning all
something
the
I
girls
can? I mean, probably that's the story of my life, which is why you're such an anomaly. But so business is usually maybe that's what it is.
Stop.
In general, dudes who are interested in camera and video production gear are just the dudes who don't attract girls, and so it's just all the dudes hanging out. But I don't think so, especially in a world where literally, like, for young people, anyone under 18, the number one job is want to be a YouTuber.
Yeah, like, come on, what happened?
You don't want to know about lighting. You don't want to know about audio. You don't like. Of course they do. And like, where are y'all at?
And even the like, okay, I can understand if there is this insecurity of like I'm afraid of how I look, but then podcasting.
Yeah.
Why aren't females? Like, I could tell you why I would never care for the Rodecaster, but I think that's just a personal preference because I don't really care about gear.
Right.
And I don't want to say that that's because I'm female.
No, that's just
gear.
Your workflow perspective. That's the end goal with the content, I think, is different.
Right. So there has to be females out there who are passionate about either upping their podcast, workflow or starting one. Why wouldn't they?
I mean, literally, in Rode's promo video for the Rodecaster, the B-roll. No, the B-roll is a girl like doing her own podcast by herself.
There you go.
So I mean,
one.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's a staged thing, but they chose a female to be doing it. She's like sitting at her desk with the mic, talking and pushing all the buttons and stuff.
So let's get some audience feedback. Like,
I
feel like it was worth the exploration.
Yeah, there's not going to be a conclusion, but I think it's a discussion worth having. I think, like, I like the thing that Cody had posted. I think if more people, especially those of us who all kind of look the same in this space, ask these questions. Like if a creator or a company comes to me and goes, hey, you want to be a part of this project? And I literally say, what's the race gender split? And it's all dudes that look like me. Maybe it's a good thing if I give up my spot so that somebody who doesn't look like me can kind of fill that spot. And there's plenty of talented people out there. It's just,
and plenty of opportunities where you can share your voice.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't mean that somebody loses and somebody wins.
Right.
It just means like maybe like we can balance it out a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, where is this silent group at? And I don't.
Why?
And why? Like, what can I do?
But I mean, we talk about this all the time. So we really need your feedback.
Yeah.
You listeners.
You listeners.
Yeah. I mean, we'd love to hear.
I would love to know your thoughts on this, especially because I'm guessing for a lot of people who are like me, it might not be something you haven't realized ever.
Right.
Like you go through your subscription box, you got your channels you're psyched about.
And you say that all the time. Like you didn't even notice it until I pointed it out.
I just noticed like I'm interested in this video. This is a video I want to watch as a thing. And then it's like, oh, it's all dudes of all ethnicities and totally different ages, but it's all dudes. And like every once in a while, like a couple girls will fall in. So it's like,
I don't know.
And
I have no idea.
I want to know. I'm curious. I guess the big thing is look at your own viewing habits. Look at the space that you're in. What does it look like compared to what you look like? How does that make you feel? I do feel that it is important to add more diversity into that. Luckily, I think, like I said, YouTube ethnically is like fairly diverse.
I think it's pretty diverse.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the most diverse platforms.
Yeah, I think there's room to grow there, but I think if you type in camera gear or whatever, you're going to get dudes of all races. I do think there's something, at least in these other areas that aren't traditionally, sure, if you're a kindergarten teacher, if you're beauty guru, fashion, whatever, probably going to be girls everywhere, but like in these other things that aren't traditionally female, like dominated, like why aren't they? Is it something that we're doing to make people feel excluded without even realizing it? Yeah. And is there something we could do to address that, or at least acknowledge it, or fix it, or work towards fixing it, I guess?
Yeah. You're so cool for...
I'm just the coolest.
No, seriously. Like this is why I love you, babe.
Oh,
because
thank you.
I love the fact that you are even thinking about this.
It really it makes me feel guilt. I was watching a video today, a studio tour video from another channel, and it's two white dudes of different ethnicities, different varieties of white dudes, different accents, but they're sitting there talking about like use the microphone used, and I now I feel weirdly uncomfortable, which I don't like feeling uncomfortable about, but I was like, I feel uncomfortable as a white dude watching these white dudes talk about gear, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not watching them because they're white dudes.
Right.
That was the topic I was interested in that popped up. It wasn't.
Do you think that there's any chance that you might be unconsciously gravitating towards white dudes, or is there truly a lack?
I think there's truly a lack because like
there obviously is.
Like I said, unless you're talking about dudes, like my subscription feed is racially like super diverse.
That's great. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah.
Both age and race, and location, culture, whatever. There's just not a lot of females, and literally, you saw like the stuff I'm going to search for. Let's look up. We talk about the Rodecaster. That's the thing that's driving my channel.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's do Rodecaster Pro review. This is also getting into podcasting now.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I search this up, dude, me,
you,
dude, company, me again. It's again all dudes, me a lot. Well, literally a channel called Two Baby Guys.
It is interesting though because the dudes aren't in the thumbnail.
No, the gear is front and center.
Yeah.
But it is only dudes and me a lot.
See why? Diversity.
Yeah, it's again
diverse dudes.
Diverse dudes. That's a good name for like a podcast.
two diverse dudes.
But we're down deep now into this list.
He's been scrolling this whole
time we've been talking, and there's not a single female.
There's been females with a
with the
male
dudes,
partner. Yeah.
but no like
See?
no females like, hey, I got the Rodecaster. Here's how I use it or whatever in my workflow.
There you are again.
I
mean,
have
the fact
popped up
that
a
you,
lot. My
the
SEO
fact
is
that you're
great.
showing up this much with not like a female
Yeah.
showing up at least in between.
Yeah. Why isn't one of my slots taken up by
Yeah. Like, come on.
And the question is, are they not showing up, or literally is there nothing to show up?
Right. Has no female. Okay, so I have an idea for a video that I'm going to make on my channel.
Seriously, like, just don't worry about Rodecaster, but do like how I record my podcast and talk about, because you use the Yeti mic, you record directly to your computer, you upload to Anchor. You taught me about Anchor.
I did.
The whole reason we're even listening to this podcast right now. You didn't. Well, you kind of did teach me about the Yeti mic. Like, I knew about it, but you were the one who used it, that I heard it sounded good. So that's when I got my Yeti mic. Your podcast sounds great.
I don't have a podcast. I don't feel like it's fair. I mean, it's there, but I haven't touched it in like a year. But like, I do want to, I think there needs to be representation.
Right.
And if I have to be the one to create it, and you could just be on it with me, and at least they can click on my channel and be like, this is a female creator.
The thing I would be curious about is, if you had the podcasting video, would you pop up in these search results
at all?
Yeah.
Oh, so you think that there might be some algorithmically?
Not necessarily, but like, so if you're not logged into YouTube and you type in how to make a podcast, you'll get a different set of results than if you're logged into your account with your history and your viewing habits. So maybe,
why don't you pull up Safari and let's check it on mine?
Okay. Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm already logged
browsers.
in. Let's do a private window because I'm logged into like 3 different accounts on my Safari right now.
Okay, I'm logging in. Can you click sign in? In the meantime, why don't you tell people how they can leave you a voice message?
Right. You can leave me a voice message by going to anchor.fm/enthusiasm, clicking the thing that says leave a message, and just using your phone or whatever. It doesn't have to be through the Rodecaster. You can leave a message and weigh in
on your phone.
Yeah, and weigh in on this topic, and I can include you in a future episode. We got 2-factor. Here's what we can do, though. We can just like type in YouTube real quick.
Okay, so I can't sign in because I don't have my phone.
But we'll just use a private window on YouTube.
Rodecaster Pro review. Oops.
That's fine. It'll get it. Hey, there's me. It's
you're watching your video, babe?
It's real good. Got to get that ad rev. It's a heck of a lot of me. It's essentially the same list, just in a different order. It looks like Pat Flynn. Here's my video from today. Yeah, it's
that's Rode.
That's Rode. So all of Rode's promo materials
has a chick in it.
So I mean, that clearly means like they must recognize something here.
Yeah, I don't know. What the hell? It's like all your videos. It's like not even about the Rodecaster, the M50 versus EOSR or whatever.
This must be like, I don't know. Anyway, I think it's a conversation worth having.
Please join in.
Yeah, join in.
I think this is a conversation worth continuing with other people aside from us. Because, we're acknowledging that there's something.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't mean taking direct action, like, I'm not going to change the list of videos I was planning to make or anything, but like...
I think that we should have a video on my channel where maybe you could show me how to use this thing.
Sure.
I think just to have a female on there.
Yeah. And just so that pops up, and then what if another girl sees that and goes like, "Oh, I should get that." Like this girl uses it.
Or if you are a female creator and you use the Rodecaster.
Yeah, you should do this.
Yeah, because I don't even use it.
But you do have a podcast workflow. Anyway. So this is the shifting kind of out of that. I really do appreciate I just appreciate your insight. This was one of those fun things where we didn't really talk about it much before, any more than we normally would.
Yeah, it was like, here's the topic. And
yeah, so we got to kind of explore it.
But these are my favorite.
Me too. Me too. And I have a hard time
Tom is a planner.
Yes. So I have a hard time adapting it.
And pragmatic.
Yes. So shifting gears just a little bit, this podcast is going to be the newest one up when my next video comes out, which is all about how to do your podcast workflow, how I do my simple podcast workflow, start to finish with the Rodecaster Pro and Anchor. Normally, based on our discussion, I might want to just end the podcast now, but in that video, I specifically talk about having a Gear of the Week segment on my podcast. So I feel that it is important that the first episode people might see, because they're going to go to the podcast, click the most recent one, has everything that I talked about in the video.
I'm excited for this.
So I want to make sure we talk about Gear of the Week, your favorite thing.
Oh
the
my God.
segment you would definitely have.
No, straight up, I'm so excited for this. Do you know?
Oh, I have an idea, and I hope it doesn't kind of seem sexist that it's your Gear of the Week. So, Heather,
yes.
What piece of gear has gotten a lot of use and value from you over the past week or just recently that you would love to tell people about?
I don't know what it's called exactly, but it's a Dyson hand vacuum. And let me tell you, you guys know this. Tom and I recently got a puppy.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be 12 weeks this week. And he's a corgi. And we also have a 5-year-old golden retriever.
Yes, the two most sheddingest breeds ever.
Exactly. Shed. There's hair everywhere. I mean, there's hair on the floor every day. And this hand vacuum is the best because it's portable. It doesn't need
crazy
wires or
powerful.
anything. It's super powerful, and it just suctions everything up, and just it's like so awesome.
It's stupid expensive, but
and it's so portable. It's like I can leave it on the kitchen counter. I can leave it in the living room. I can take it over here, take it over there. It's not like I have to drag this whole huge vacuum with me. It's like all you do is like hold a button and it turns on. There's no on and off or anything. It's just you hold the button and then it just turns off.
Have you played with the turbo mode on the back?
No.
There's a button on the back that says like turbo, and you push it and it goes like crazier. But after years of just like getting a cheap hand vac that's like $25, having it break, getting another one, having it break.
I've never had a
job.
hand vac.
Oh,
so.
sorry, that's me. Spending the money on that one, the Dyson.
And there's no like bags or anything. It's it's relatively small, but it's just it's like the best. I mean, I could make a whole podcast episode about how much this thing has changed my life. There's not a day that goes by where I don't use that thing. I really love it. It's the best. It makes cleaning fun.
It's great, and the dogs are hilarious around it too.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of gear.
Yeah.
And you know what? We can even tie it in, because if you have a studio space or whatever, you probably want to keep your stuff clean.
Exactly.
And that's a great way to do it. My Gear of the Week, I'm going to keep it very traditional. I got this new thing I'm excited about. If you saw my studio tour video, you know that I was talking about lights, and I was trying to figure out a way to mount my backlight, my hair light, the one that kind of gives you a nice glow, a nice rim of light. Right after I filmed that video, I mounted a little, what's called a baby plate to the ceiling, which is basically just a light mount, like at the top of a light stand. And I put it kind of behind me on the ceiling so I could angle a light down, but I didn't have a good light to do that. My Gear of the Week is the new light that I got, which is and I like it because it's underrated, the Intellytech Pocket Canon Mini, which is an awesome, it's basically, all of my lights are LED like soft lights, and this is a little LED like spotlight. So it comes with barn doors, comes with a battery. It's super well built. It's super tiny. Like, it's honestly barely any bigger than the Rode Pod mic that I'm talking into right now. But you pop it up on the ceiling, no wires, and you can direct the angle of the light. It's ridiculously bright, and it is just really fun to use. That is definitely my pick for Gear of the Week. Last week, I had my iPad as gear, which is like crazy expensive, but I just gotten it and I love it. So I was this one I got for like $140. So it was a super affordable light, and I love it, and it's great, and it helps things to look better. Definitely my choice for Gear of the Week. So with that being said, Heather, where can people find you if they want to reach out or get involved in empowering female voices, creator voices?
I'm Heather Just Create on YouTube and Instagram.
And of course, I am at SoDarnTom on all the things. Thank you for listening. Please leave a voice message.
Yeah.
We will see you next time.